In this video, we're going to talk about new construction in Mobile, Alabama. So let's get started. I'm standing here at the Burke Forest subdivision by Adams Homes out in West Mobile, and in this video we're going to talk about all the details of new construction and what it's like from beginning to actually sitting at the closing table. I'm going to interview somebody who actually watched my YouTube videos, and they called me, and then we got connected, and then there they are. A month later, they're living in their house and they absolutely love it. So we're going to talk about the neighborhood. We're going to interview the superintendent. So we're going to hope to answer a lot of your questions. But one thing I absolutely love is when my phone rings and I look down and it's one of you guys who've called me or texted me or emailed me, and you've got questions about the process of moving to beautiful Mobile, Alabama. So reach out to me, drop me a message, but don't forget to like and subscribe, because each week we're dropping a brand new video about all things Mobile. So I'm standing here with my new friend Mitch, who actually reached out to me because he saw some videos on YouTube, and I got to work with Mitch with helping him find new construction. And one of the things I heard from you was that you wanted a brand new house no one had ever lived in. You wanted it to be in a great community. And so Mitch, tell us just a little bit kind of how it came about, how we connected, and a little bit about the journey of working with Adams Homes and how all that came about.
Well, I mean, it started out, we were in New Hampshire, in New England, and I was showing my son videos of Mobile, and that's how I came across Jeff's video. And of course, him, doing a lot of the shots, going down the old streets of Mobile, just brought back a lot of memories to me, and that's how we connected. And I knew that we were going to be moving to Mobile, so I said, hey, let me call Jeff. And just like he says in his videos, he picks up the phone when you call.
And it's funny, when you called, I was like, this guy is not from here, got a little bit of an accent, but you've been here for what, another month and a half now or so?
I've been home a month. So again, born and raised in Mobile, left about 22 years ago.
So we're starting to see the accent sneak back in
it's
just
coming
a little
back.
bit.
It's coming. I'm getting
awesome.
the y'alls back, from some of the team members at work and stuff like that. So they can hear a little bit of it.
So with working with Adams Homes, what we did was we connected, and you said you wanted to see new construction. So I connected with David, who I'm going to introduce to you all very shortly. Connected with David, and he kind of gave us the grand tour, and Burke Forest in particular, it's close to where you work, it's where you want to live, it's in that area. And so what has it been like as far as the process from start to finish with you actually being out of town? Because that makes a lot of people nervous.
No, of course. And well, the process overall has been super easy, thanks to you and thanks to David. It's just making that connection and figuring out, hey, what we're going to do, where we're going to be. So that was the biggest thing. There's a lot of inventory, and there's a lot of great, areas to live in Mobile. But overall, one of the biggest reasons why we chose Burke Forest is, number one, it was new construction. Number two, there's not as many homes in this community as there were in some of the others. But I'll tell you, the other houses were great as well. But overall, that's one of the reasons why we chose to be here.
Well, that's awesome. Well, we're going to talk with David, and he's going to show us a little bit about the model home and some of the things that sets Adams Homes apart from some of the other options. And then we're going to also talk with the superintendent, who's going to really kind of show us the details of what it's like before you sign the dotted line at the closing table. Because, with new construction, just because it's new doesn't mean that everything's going to be perfect. But working with the superintendent, that's the great thing, is he takes care of all those details. So we're standing here outside of the model home at Burke Forest. We're about to go inside and talk with David, who's going to give us the grand tour and talk about the details of what an Adams home is like. And then we're going to get to talk to Randy, the superintendent, who's going to go over even more details of the process from start to finish and some of the details on how the house is actually built. So let's go inside. So I'm standing here with David James with Adams Homes. And David, from what I understand, you've been in the housing business for a few years, huh?
I have, over 25.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you started when you were 10, basically.
Yeah, pretty much.
Okay. So David is here in Burke Forest, and he's going to give you a few details about some options with that, but also in a little bit, I want you to give me a tour. Is that okay?
Sure.
Okay.
Absolutely.
So give me the tour. We're going to highlight some things in the home itself. But one of the things that I want to share with you all is I got to know David pretty well. And the reason why is because if somebody's moving from out of town, there are obviously a lot of questions. And so if you can't physically be here, and you can't be here through the process, you can't always see things, but David's going to keep you updated on that.
Sure
So how does that work? I mean, with email, phone calls, what do you typically do?
A little bit of everything. Texting, phone calls, emails. So whatever's best for the homeowner.
Okay.
I'll go ahead and do it that way. So the communication is pretty vital through the whole process.
Well, and that is key, is communication. So typically what happens is the phone rings and you tell me, hey, I want new construction. Then I get to connect the dots and connect you with David. And then we start down that journey. And one of the things that sets Adams Homes apart, I like how you actually call the houses based on the floor plan. Tell me a little bit about that.
We do. Well, it makes it easier. Some people get confused when you call them a certain name and then they ask for the square footage. So we just call our floor plans the square foot.
Okay. Now, the model home that we're in right now, what's the square footage?
This is 2320 square feet.
Okay, so 2320 square feet, and I have to tell you, standing here, it feels much bigger than that.
It does.
Now, why do you think that is?
I think the high ceilings, just the space, we utilize it well.
Okay.
It's very spacious, very warm and inviting.
And one of the things people ask me about is, some people really, they absolutely cannot live in a house that is not open concept. So they want open concept, and we're standing at this bar, and it goes all the way from the kitchenette, all the way over to the foyer, the dining room, the family room. So it's got a big open space.
It really does, and it's great for entertaining because that way you can interact with, whoever you have over. You can be cooking here and preparing meals while people are watching football games or whatnot. So yeah, it's very inviting.
Well, and so before we start on the official tour of the house, I do want to say we're here in the kitchen, and this is granite.
It is granite.
Okay, so you got this bar, you've got the stainless appliances, you've got the cabinets. It's this big open space, but this kind of sets the tone for the house, and I really like that. So what do you hear that people like or people ask the most questions about in the kitchen? What do they want the most?
Yeah, I think kitchen island's a big factor because you can prepare meals here. You can use it as a sit-in area for the children while they're doing their homework in the evening, or breakfast in the morning, or just having it as a buffet, entertaining while we're watching maybe your favorite ball game.
I got you. And Alabama or Auburn, I know a lot of you guys are from out of town. Let me just tell you, football is like a religion down here. Yeah. And so right there on the big screen, you can watch your game from the kitchen island. So, hey, let's go on the rest of that tour.
Okay, sounds good.
Awesome. So, David, when I walk in, the primary bedroom, one of the things that stands out the most, you've got the double vanities. And then what are some of the other things? You got shower. Tell me a little bit about all that.
Yeah, our shower is a 4-foot shower with some have seats, some do not. We have a soaking tub over here as well.
My wife, she could never buy a house without a soaking tub.
Yeah, they're wonderful. They really are, especially after a hard day's work, right?
For sure.
So this one actually has a double vanity. A lot of our homes will have separate vanities, a his and her kind of situation split up. So it depends on the floor plan, but a lot of people love this floor plan because of this reason.
Okay, and then you've got the separate water closet here.
We do.
And then you've got a pretty large closet that would be certainly large enough for two people to share. Although in my case, I'm sure that would be my wife's closet.
Well, in my case as well. So, yeah.
But, this is one of the most important things. People want to know what this is like. So this is a really nice area. It's spacious.
It is.
So, hey, let's go ahead and take the tour, go outside, and let's talk about the exterior, the roof, some of those other details, and then we can walk around the neighborhood and show you what it's like if you're out taking a walk, you get home from work, what it's going to be like actually living in the community. So obviously, when you're looking at new construction, a very important thing is the exterior. And I'm standing here, I'm able to see the garage, the brick. What are some of the highlights of the exterior of a home?
Yeah, so one thing that Brick Forest provides homeowners with is not only brick on the front, but all four sides, which is a great feature. Obviously, 2-car garages, and inside the garage we have additional storage space. With pull-down access, so for storage, it's very good thing to have. We also sod all of our yards front and rear, and give you a great landscaping package.
Yeah. And if you want to go for a walk through the neighborhood, there's sidewalks, so that's very nice. A lot of times neighborhoods don't have that, but I think that's something that really sets things apart. And it's great, you know, when you're driving through the neighborhood, a lot of times you'll see families out walking, you know, walking their dog. But that's one of the things that really drew me in. When I pulled into Burke Forest, I noticed that it's just like a very welcoming community.
It is. It really is. We have beautiful homes here, natural setting here. You can see all the woods surrounding the community. It's on two cul-de-sacs, so there's no through traffic. And all of our homes, as I mentioned, brick all four sides. They're all 4-bedroom, sometimes 2 or 3 full baths, depending on the homeowner's needs. And it's close in proximity to everything, but feels very rural.
Yeah. And the thing I will point out is the whole entire time I've been here, I've not seen one car drive through. So talk about privacy, talk about
Absolutely.
quiet. This is the place.
Absolutely.
So David, I wanted to show everyone a larger house. And this is actually the largest house you guys have in Burke Forest. How many square feet is it?
It is. This is actually 2814 square feet.
Okay, so 2814, but I will tell you it feels much larger than that because again, it's the open concept and you've got, in the great room, you've got 10-foot and 11-foot ceilings, so it's really huge.
Yeah.
But I also wanted to take this opportunity, you know, I've lived in Mobile my whole life. I've always heard about Adams Homes. Like I mentioned, I've lived there in an Adams home for more than 10 years. But tell me a little bit about the history and maybe some of the background of Adams Homes in general.
Sure. So Jeff, Adams Homes has been really providing and building homes with quality and value for our homeowners for over 30 years.
Okay.
We're currently in 7 states, primarily in the Southeast. Okay. And we do have several core principles that we kind of abide by. And one is by treating people the way you want to be treated. Yeah. I think that's very important. Also, just keep it simple. This process can be overwhelming for a lot of folks. So, you know, our goal is to really make sure they're feeling good. They don't have any
no surprises.
No surprises. Yeah, absolutely.
That was the key for me. Was anytime I work with buyers who are moving from around the country, we don't need surprises at the closing table. And I felt very good about that working with you all, and of course Mitch. It was a great experience. And also one of the things that people always ask me about, you know, they go under contract, and one of the first things they do is you have to find out about insurance. And a lot of times people hear about the South, they think of hurricanes and this crazy expensive thing and flood insurance and all these kind of details. So talk with me a little bit about the benefits of new construction and what that looks like.
Well, exactly. You're talking about brand new homes versus existing used homes. And there is a significant difference. You know, you're talking about codes have changed, materials have changed, and there's not as much risk for insurers.
Sure.
So there is a significant you know, payoff by purchasing a new Adams home versus an existing home.
Yeah, it's definitely one of the benefits for sure. And kind of to tie that in, I'm going to talk with Randy next, so I'm excited to introduce him to you all. He's the superintendent in this area, so if you go under contract with a house, of course working with David, then you're going to work with Randy, and he's going to actually show you the details, doing the final walkthrough, talking about, you know, the progress of construction. And well, I don't want to share it all. I want to wait and talk with Randy about that. But I'm excited for you to meet him because myself, David, and Randy, we all get to work together so that once again, at the closing table, there are no surprises.
Absolutely. And we have a great team as well. As you mentioned, I've been doing this for over 25 years. Randy is just an awesome superintendent, and just from administrative all the way to our warranties. I mean, it's a great experience for our homeowners.
They cover every single detail. So I wanted to introduce you all to the superintendent, the man, Randy Miller. And so I got to know Randy pretty well through the last 2 buyers that I've worked with just in the last month and a half who closed on an Adams home. And so, Randy, tell us a little bit about the role you play, like how much are they going to be talking with you? And I mean, I know that it's super important, the job, but I want to make sure and answer the questions that somebody has.
Sure. So my title is superintendent with Adams Homes, and that actually is a job site supervisor. So I take care of all the stuff that the homeowners don't want to have to deal with the contractors and that kind of thing. So I take the house from start, either wooded lot or grassed lot, to a completed product, and then I actually walk it with the home buyer at the end of it too.
Okay, and so as far as walkthroughs now, my understanding is there's not just one. How does that work?
Yeah, so once a home purchase is made, we get with the closing coordinator team. They schedule a walkthrough or a homeowner orientation with the buyer, at which point a superintendent like myself would go and meet the buyer there and actually walk through the house and show them how everything works and explain the warranties and that kind of process. And then if need be, we would have a final walkthrough saying that everything is completed and you're ready to go to closing.
Okay, so with Mitch, who we were talking with earlier, he couldn't actually be here physically, so I had to represent him through that process. And I remember, tell me about kind of the tape. How does all that work?
Yeah, so we actually have blue tape. If we see spots on the walls or anything like that, we'll notate, and we have an initial walkthrough list that will make a note of anything that needs to be prepared for the closing, and then we'll finish that before the final walkthrough and get it punched out for you.
Okay, well, I want to make sure you guys understand kind of the way things work and how it left an impression on me. So I'm walking through, with Randy, we're walking through the house, and so off in the corner, I saw this little blemish on the wall, and I was heading over there. I was gonna, break off the tape, and before I could even do it, Randy, he had done that himself, and he'd put it up there, and he said, "Oh, we got to make sure and take care of that." So what that spoke to me was that he noticed that before I did, and it says a lot to me because they're not just trying to, to pass something off and get by. He really, really does care about the finished product. And again, we don't want any surprises. This is a tight-knit community. And so there are houses that are for sale in Burke Forest.
Absolutely.
And you're going to see on a daily basis, you'll see David over there at the sales center. You'll see Randy.
Yeah.
And you'll get to see them through the community. And they want to be able to look at you with a feeling good about that whole experience. And so that's the thing that really resonated with me. Now, one of the questions that we get a lot are about warranties. Maybe talk a little bit about that. How does all that work?
Sure, yeah. So Adams Homes provides a 1, 2, 10 is what we call it. So the first year is going to cover non-cosmetic items through the house. The second year portion of that is going to cover stuff behind the walls that you don't see every day. And then the 10-year portion of the warranty is a structural warranty that we provide for the home that is actually transferable and stays with the home if you sold it within that time.
Okay, because we get a lot of questions about that. Well, what about resale and so forth?
Sure.
So that is a big deal.
Yeah.
So Adams Homes, everything that I've dealt with has been a great experience. Working with Randy, working with David, just overall the neighborhood in general, it was a great thing. And now that I've gotten to connect with the buyers, we just met with Mitch. He's been here a month. And he was just ranting, and raving about his great experience. And then in another community around town, I was talking with another buyer, and she had a great experience as well. But it's great to put a name with a face,
Sure.
And so that you can say, this is the person I'm actually going to be dealing with. So if you have questions and you're like, hey, I think I want some new construction in Mobile, I'd like to consider that option, reach out to me. Call the number on the screen, shoot me a message, a text message, any way you want to reach out, and I will connect the dots. I'll get you in touch with David. And then if we go through that process of actually getting the home, then you'll get to meet Randy.
That's right.
And Randy's going to make sure that everything is the way it should be. And that is the true Adams Homes experience. And that's it, folks. If you have any questions about new construction in Mobile, Alabama, drop me a message, shoot me an email, call the number on the screen. I'd love to hear from you. But don't forget to reach out and like and subscribe, because each week we're dropping a brand new video about all things Mobile.